So could we kind of gather together and kind of, because we always start, as a tradition in the Black community, we start most things with prayer. And so if you don't believe in the way we pray, just kind of stand aside, do what you need to do, but we're going to pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful day, bright sun, shiny day. God, we thank you for all the things you are doing in our hearts, in our city, and in our community. We thank you for your walk with the people of faith from slavery today to present day. We welcome people here today to celebrate with us the freedom of the African Americans who were enslaved through the Emancipation Proclamation, now known as Juneteenth Day. God bless you. Amen. I'll take my down.
All right. Good afternoon. My name is Josue Peralta. I am part of this year's Juneteenth Planning Committee. I am the coordinator, in fact. And I would like to thank you all for coming here and spending time with us as we begin the Juneteenth season. And thank you all again for coming here to the City County building. Here beside me, we have a lot of city leaders, and in the crowd, we also have a lot of our community leaders as well. And who without them, we would not be able to have this happen. So please, let's give a round of applause to all of our leaders and to all of our Juneteenth committee members. As you already heard, joining us as well is our founder, Miss Annie Weatherby Flowers, who began this celebration here in Madison 37 years ago. It is a privilege to say that you've gotten to 37. I'm only 30 now, and I feel very old. And though I feel old, I am very young to most of you here. So the fact that we've gotten to 37 is not something to look down. It is a huge privilege, I should say. So we thank you for Miss Annie for putting all of her work throughout the years to be able to make this happen. I like to say that Juneteenth belongs to all of us, whether you're a volunteer, whether you're a sponsor, whether you attend, or just simply spreading the word. I think there is a place for you in this celebration. I want to invite you to visit JuneteenthMadison.com if you have any questions regarding the other events going on in Juneteenth this year and how you can become a part of that. So again, thank you all for coming. We are glad you're here. And with that, I would like to invite our elder, please, Miss Barbara McKinney. Please come forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Barbara McKinney, and as someone born and raised in the South, I understand our history that is filled with both struggle and strength. Today we gather to celebrate Juneteenth, a day that marks June 19, 1865, when enslaved African Americans in Texas finally earned their freedom, more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. Juneteenth is a celebration of freedom, but it is also a reminder of the sacrifices made by those who came before us. Our ancestors endured hardship, injustice, and inequality, yet they never gave up. They built families, communities, churches, and schools while holding tightly to their faith and to their dreams for future generations. Today I want to recognize, or we will recognize, those who carried the torch of encouragement, wisdom, love, the mothers and fathers who sacrificed, the grandparents who shared their stories, the teachers, mentors, pastors, and community leaders who believed in us and helped guide our steps. Their names may not be found in history books, but their impact lives on in every generation. We remember the courage of the foot soldiers of freedom, those who marched, organized, prayed, and voted, and sacrificed so many future generations, future generations that could live with greater opportunity and dignity. We think of those who crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, facing violence and intimidation in pursuit of voting rights and justice. Their determination reminds us that progress is never automatic. It is earned through courage and collective action. And we honor those shoulders which we stand on. May we continue to build bridges where there are divides, hope where there is despair, and opportunity where there are obstacles. Happy Juneteenth, and may we always remember that freedom is not merely a destination, it is a journey that each generation must continue to strive. And to our young people, the torch is being passed to you, and to you to carry it with pride and purpose and determination. Learn from our history, honor those who came before you, and continue the work of building a future filled with opportunity, justice, and unity. Juneteenth reminds us that freedom is not just sometimes celebrated, it is something that we protect, strengthen, and pass on. Let us honor the past, cherish the present, and invest in the future. Happy Juneteenth.
I'm back. So what I like to do, we have some committee members here who have, Corinda, who has the program of the parade, who's been doing that for years, so come up, Corinda. We have a newcomer, y'all know I'm old, so I'm gonna take my time. Latanya Jackson. So Jackson Flynn. And then the representative from the mayor's office, Linda Ventura, who's been on our committee for some times now. She brings order. She brings forward thinking, especially to me, because sometimes I think in the big sense. So we'd like to just welcome you here today, to introduce you to some of us. Like they said, I've been doing this for 37 years. And on my arm is a bracelet that my cohort, Mona Winston, made for me 3 years ago at Juneteenth. So since she can't be here in person, she worked along with me for 30 years to make sure that Juneteenth happened every year. So I wanted to say thank you, Corinda, thank you, Linda, and thank you, Latanya. And with that, we're going to have my favorite community singer, Michelle Bozeman, to come and do the national anthem. And after that, Latanya will be your MC.
And just as a correction, the Black National Anthem. And an also correction, I am now Bozeman Brown. Thank you. Yes. So of course, if you know Lift Every Voice and Sing, I've been singing this song every day since I was in kindergarten, every single day. If you went to a Chicago public school, we sung this along with our national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance 5 days a week. So if you notice, sing along with me. I'm not gonna do my extra. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, and ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the MC. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, and let us march on till victory is won. Thank you.
I'm a little shorter than everyone else. I'll bring the mic down. First and foremost, Michelle Bozeman Brown. That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. One more round of applause. So, moving forward, my name is LaTanya Jackson Flynn, and I will be your MC today. As they refer to, mistress of the ceremony. I also want to give a thanks to Alder McKinney for her beautiful speech as well. Moving forward, as we move the program along, I will further announce Mayor Santia Rhodes Conway for her next segment. Thank you.
Well, good day, everyone. It is a good day, yes? All right. Gorgeous. Good to see all of you here. Thank you for joining us. I want to acknowledge Alder Harrington McKinney. Thank you for your words. Thanks for being here. Alder Madison, our new council president. We also have Alders Zhang and Yugair joining us. Thank you for being here. And a number of city staff. Thanks, everybody, for coming. I'm excited to yet again be here raising the Juneteenth flag in front of the City County building. Yes. I want to start by offering gratitude to all of the organizers. Thanks to the committee for stepping up, and of course, got to give thanks to Miss Annie for her years. But I am so happy that you have a crowd around you now, helping out, and thank you for stepping up and doing it. It is not easy to organize events. It takes a village, and I want to thank everybody who's a part of that. I'm really grateful, not just for the organization and the work that goes into it, but for the fundamental principle of being intentional about raising the Juneteenth flag over these government buildings. It's a public declaration of our values. It's a visible reminder of who we are here in Madison and Dane County, and who we honor, and the history that has shaped our country, and its acknowledgement of all of that. This year's theme is celebrating our history and our presence, and I think that's an important theme in the noise of the world, in all of the things that are going on. When we talk about celebrating our history, we remember how freedom was denied and delayed and denied and delayed for decades, even before we got to the Emancipation Proclamation, right? Denied and delayed. And then even after the proclamation was signed, it was denied and delayed until that moment in Galveston, Texas, when the news of freedom finally arrived more than 2.5 years late, on top of the decades of already freedom being too late. When we talk about celebrating our history here in Madison, I think we have to recognize the deep and multi-generational legacy of Black leadership and activism and cultural brilliance that predates any official federal or state holiday. We're all standing here today on the shoulders of local giants, of advocates, of elders who spent decades building our communities, specifically on Madison's South Side, and ensuring that Black history is recognized as foundational to Madison's history. It is Madison's history. And when we talk about celebrating our presence, I want that to mean that we are celebrating the vibrant Black culture and leadership and creativity and entrepreneurship here in Madison today and into the future. Presence recognizes those contributions to our economy, our culture, and our community. But presence can't just be existing. Presence has to be thriving also. We can't truly celebrate without being completely honest about the deep racial disparities that still exist in our community. But we're working on that. When we talk about making Madison an equitable city, it takes real and daily work. At the city, in city government, we work to embed racial equity and social justice into our policy, our programs, and our people. We work to dismantle systems that don't work for everyone. And restructuring those systems is a daily civic duty that city government takes seriously, and I think other county government, other levels of government here in Madison take seriously as well. So as we raise the Juneteenth flag today, I invite every Madisonian to do their part in the work of creating a more equitable community. I invite everyone to join in the festivities that happen throughout June, but to carry that spirit of history and presence into everything you do, not just when you go down to be part of the parade, not just when you show up at the festival, but every day, and recognize that with celebration has to come work, and with work has to come celebration. They are intertwined. So thank you all, and happy Juneteenth.
All right, one more round of applause for Mayor Santia Rose Conway. That was beautiful. Okay, next I will introduce, please welcome Dane County Executive Melissa Agard.
Good morning, everyone. It is a wonderful day to be here, to be kicking off the Juneteenth celebrations that will occur all across not only Madison and Dane County, across the state of Wisconsin, but frankly across our nation. This is rooted in our culture now, and it is because of hard work of leaders like Miss Annie Weatherby Flowers that we're able to say that this is rooted across our nation. Annie, thank you for that gift. And it's also important to realize that passing of the torch can be challenging, and it can be hard to find people that are going to continue to pick up that legacy and do that heavy lifting. But LaTanya, having your hands on this is really a gift to the future and to our future generations. Thank you. So after a bunch of us get done talking today, we are going to raise the amazing Juneteenth flag as we recognize 161 years since the news of emancipation finally reaching enslaved Black folks in Galveston, Texas. That history is a scourge on our nation's history, but it is a fact. And as we continue to move forward, it's vitally important that we are honest with one another about the inequities, about the dark times in our history, so we can root ourselves in doing better and building forward, not just today, the celebration, not just at a picnic or a parade, but for our children and their future. Because if we get too cozy and comfy in the realities, we're gonna start sliding backwards, folks. And there's too many people that want that to happen. And we're not gonna let that happen here. And we're not gonna let that happen across our nation. So this is a moment of long delayed justice and heavy, important work that needs to continue to happen. It is reminding us that freedom was not handed over willingly or evenly, and that even after emancipation was declared, there was continued oppression and continued people reaching for that power that was not in their hands anymore. The resistance to change is frankly not something that is democratic. and we are all here maintaining our commitment to our democracy. The flag that is on the pole behind me is a symbol of resilience, it's a symbol of truth, and it's a symbol of discomfort. It honors the strength of Black communities and allies across generations for the enduring belief that freedom must mean more than simple words on paper, that it is about our actions and our moral fiber. It is how we live our daily lives. It is the opportunities that we deliver to our children and the promise that their dreams matter. It is about dignity. To me, Juneteenth is a time to celebrate Black history and Black leadership, but is also a time to double down on the work that we need to continue to do. To reflect on what is undone in order to build a society where equity is real and justice is in fact shared amongst all of us. And in Dane County, I often talk about the Dane County way. The Dane County way, when it comes to this, is being honest, even though it's not easy. It's about continuing to face these disparities head on because we know that they are facing and affecting people's lives in challenging ways. Whether we're talking about housing, health, the broken justice system, we all know there is more work to do. And frankly, it means listening. Here I am up here talking, but it means shutting our mouths and doing more listening. It's about learning about the lived experiences and staying committed to meaningful action. It's about understanding that my dreams and your dreams aren't in competition with one another, but they are stronger when we weave them with one another. And as we raise the flag today, we will be honoring those people whose shoulders we stand on, the people who have endured the unthinkable, those people who have organized until they were tired but kept getting up, who never stopped pushing and believing in what can be. Juneteenth is a call to action for every single one of us, not alone, but together, to honor that painful past and to believe in a brighter future. So my hope today is that we renew our commitment to our shared future, and a future that is more just, more inclusive, and more worthy for all generations who are coming after us and lifting up the legacies of those came before us. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, County Exec. Now we will hear from Common City Council President. Congratulations on the President. President Sabrina Madison.
I'm like, yay, President Madison. Okay, as I'm standing here though, I'm like, we have Mike Miller here from the city of Madison. And when I see Mike Miller now, I think of Madison Public Market. I don't know if it was you who kind of encouraged me to join the Market Ready program, but I just want to ask, because we got all these city, county people here, make sure y'all save the date. The Madison Public Market opens on July 23rd. So shout that out, finally, because, you know, it's been a lot of drama over 20 years. But shout out to both the city and the county for the success of that program. Okay, I'm not going to be long, y'all. Let me put my readers on now because I've crossed over into the 40s. All right, so y'all, so Juneteenth is also a reminder that the pursuit of justice requires persistence, courage, and collective action. I think who is here today sort of absolutely represents that. So here in Madison, Juneteenth has become, of course, one of our most beautiful traditions, thanks to Mona and Miss Annie. Each year, community members gather to celebrate Black culture, Black excellence, and Black resilience. That celebration exists because generations of local leaders, as many of yourselves in this audience, especially Miss Annie Weatherby Flowers, families, organizations, and community members who have worked tirelessly to ensure that our stories, contributions, and achievements are seen and valued. So who's been to our local Juneteenth celebration? Oh my gosh. So who's going this year? Okay, I want to see 100% hands next year, y'all. Okay, Dylan was like, yes, I will be there all day. Okay, so as we raise this flag, once we're done talking, I want to also recognize the many contributions Black Madisonians have made and continue to make to our city and across our county. From educators and entrepreneurs to artists, activists, public servants, faith leaders, and neighborhood change makers. So people like Corinda Rainey Moore. So have you ever been in a meeting and Corinda was not there? Have you ever been at an event and Corinda was not there? And if she wasn't there, she was actually there. You just missed her on her way out to the next event. So recognizing change makers like Corinda, because Corinda is at everything. And if she's not there, that was not the place to be potentially, because she's on her way. Okay, so Black residents continue to help shape Madison into the community that we know today. But I also want to lift up young people. So former Alder Juliana Bennett is here today. Raise your hand, Alder Bennett, former Alder Bennett. So I think when Alder Bennett was serving on Common Council, you were the youngest at the time, and now she is running for a different seat and doing her thing there. But shout out to Alder Bennett because she kept us up at Common Council late. Because, you know, young people don't be getting no sleep. They can stay up to 2 o'clock meetings. They can run us through long meetings. So shout out to Alder Bennett for getting us talking about housing to 2 o'clock in the morning. But I love it. We love you. We appreciate your contributions. So, but across Madison, Black youth are leading in classrooms, starting businesses, organizing community projects, creating art, excelling in their leadership, and advocating for change. They are not simply the future of our city. They are already making an impact right now. Their leadership, creativity, and determination give us reason to be hopeful about what lies ahead. So how many of y'all actually work with young people in your day-to-day? Okay, Mr. One City, right? Okay. All right, so Juneteenth is more than a celebration of history. It is an opportunity to invest in the next generation, to create pathways for opportunity, and to ensure that every young person can see themselves reflected in positions of leadership and possibility. So basically what I'm saying is, don't be hoarding the leadership. Make space for young people to come behind you, motivate them, create opportunities for them to learn from you. Like LaTanya came to me, I think, at my organization, and we had a conversation. I'm willing to be like, here you go, girl. Be more like that in your leadership. So, but as we raise this flag above our city, may it be a symbol of freedom, resilience, community, and hope. May it remind us of the sacrifices of those who came before us, the responsibilities that we carry today, and this future that we're building together. And then save the date. Come to Common Council on June 9th. We're going to recognize 5 young people, as well as Ms. Annie Weatherby Flowers and Julian Walters, who is building a development over in South Madison, because he is a great representation of a young person that is creating solutions for South Madison. Okay, y'all? All right.
All right, thank you so much, Alder Madison. That was beautiful. Keep the legacy alive of nurturing our generations to come. I love that. Up next is an honor to bring forward County Board Chair Patrick Miles.
Well, thank you, and I want to extend my gratitude to Annie for her years of service and efforts in building a strong tradition of Juneteenth celebration in Madison, and for those who have stepped up to fill your shoes. So I'm honored to stand with you today as we raise the Juneteenth flag, and I'm honored to be here along with some of my colleagues. We have Supervisor Chuck Erickson, Aaron Welsh, and Colin Baruchek here with us today. And we raise it to celebrate the nation's progress towards true freedom and full democratic participation for African Americans. But just as the Black National Anthem prays that we stay on the path lest our feet stray from places, from the places, our God, where we met thee, Juneteenth demands that we remember and face the darkest chapters of our history. If we forget our past, we risk repeating it. Sadly, we are seeing some of that hard-won progress erode. Recent rulings by the U.S. Supreme Court have weakened the protections of the Voting Rights Act, threatening a fundamental principle of our democracy, that every citizen has an equal voice and an equal vote. Dane County is firmly committed to upholding that principle. That is why we are doing everything in our power to support the county clerk and election officials throughout Dane County. And it is why we have invested heavily in a secure election facility. These are one small but tangible measure of our commitment to the promise of Juneteenth. I'll leave you with a reflection on a few more lines from the Black National Anthem. Thou hast by thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever in the path, we pray. Let us stay on the path together, because our journey is not yet complete. Thank you.
Thank you again, County Board Chair Patrick Miles. We appreciate those words. And now moving forward, last but not certainly not least, before we raise the flag, let's welcome Dane County Sheriff Calvin Barrett.
Thank you, and good afternoon. I am honored to stand before you as the Madison Police Chief, first name John, last name Patterson, 2 T's in Patterson. As mentioned, I'm Dane County Sheriff Calvin Barrett, and I'm here to talk about the importance of why we're standing here today. But not just today, it's every day that we have to continue to keep the legacy of really understanding what Juneteenth really means. I've drawn in the readings and the things I've done over so many years, I've drawn a correlation between things that have happened back then and what we see right now. Remember, Juneteenth, slaves were freed, and it wasn't 2 years later that the slaves in Texas found out. And that's very similar to what we see today, not regards to slavery, but in regards to the sharing of information, the changing of policies, the changing of laws, the beginning of services for the people here. And it is on us as leaders, is it on us as a community to continue to share that so we don't have people finding out about services, resources, and programs 2 years down the road. I want to touch on just a little bit. There's a lot of been great speakers that came before me to talk about Juneteenth, but I want to talk about what it's like carrying the legacy and the burden of those that came before us. As the first Black sheriff of Dane County, I think about what Dane County was like June 19th, 1865. Was it possible for a slave in 1865 to believe that a man that looked like him, working in those fields, would be the top law enforcement officer of Dane County? I think about that. I think about that every day as the unique leaders that we have that have these unique positions, whether it's the president of the council board, whether it's a council board member, no matter what it is, a senator, an assembly member, we carry the burden and legacy of each and every one of them. So think about that. Every time you make a decision, think about supporting us in what you do and what you say. Think about holding us accountable when we're wrong, but supporting us when we're right. Trust us when you're unsure. Believe in our vision and stand up for us when we're in public. And that is the key. And I'll end on this very special note from a quote from one of my favorite books by Martin Luther King Jr. In 1967, in his book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community? He says, history will have to record the greatest tragedy of this time period of social transition was not the strident clamor of the bad people, but the appalling silence of the good people. Stand up for us, speak out for us, speak up for us. Thank you.
That was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And you're a little bit taller than me, so I'm bringing this down. And just giving light to what he mentioned as far as it's not just about today, it's about every day. June 19th is the day that America made the promise to allow all people to be free. And we have to take that and really take that near and dear to our heart to continue that and making sure people feel and are equal. So now I will have Sheila Representative Stubbs join us before we do the flag raising.
First, give an honor to God. who is the center of my life. I am Wisconsin State Representative Sheila Stubbs, and I am honored to represent the 78th Assembly District right here in Madison, Wisconsin. My district is comprised of the south and east parts of Madison, the town of Blooming Grove, the city of Madison, and a portion of McFarland. I am your first African American ever elected to the state capitol from Dane County, breaking 170 years of history. I know what it feels like to be the first, Sheriff Barrett. There isn't a pathway. We are creating the pathway because there was a forest before us. And I can stand here and promise you this. I made a promise that I would not be the last. And so I reached out and I brought former Samba Balde with me to our state capitol. See, that's what it's about when we're talking about Juneteenth. It's not being the only, it's about bringing a community. So today, as we stand here and raise the Juneteenth flag above the Madison City County building, this is a commemoration of strength, resilience, and triumph of our ancestors who on June 19th, 1865, finally saw freedom. But we stand here today on the shoulders of ancestors. And I propose a question to you. Are we really free? Wisconsin has the highest disparities in the nation. Are we really free for Black people? In the state of Wisconsin, highest incarceration rates in the state of Wisconsin, highest redlining. Are we really free in Madison, Wisconsin? I stand here today because I will not stop until we collectively reduce the disparities. Because here's the reality, I wasn't there to create it, but I'm here to break down systems that are not built for me. And so I'm standing here today to continue to build a bridge to somewhere, because many of the bridges that were built to nowhere. As I stand here today and celebrate what we know could be possible, because we have two great leaders that stood against the test of time in Madison, Wisconsin, Miss Mona Adams Winston and Miss Annie Weatherby Flowers, who in 1990, put your hands together, 1990, founded our first Juneteenth celebration in Madison, Wisconsin. Let me share this with you. Miss Annie, when I served here, yes, in Dane County, for 16 years as a county board supervisor. For 14 years, hear me, being the only African American. Miss Annie reached out to me and she said, we got to raise the flag at the city county building. Thank you, Miss Annie. And because of her, that's why the flag has been raised here. Give her flowers, yet while she lives. Miss Annie, I salute you. I thank you for enduring the holiday, the Black heritage that will continue as we celebrate in the city, the county, and the state. And I pause here for a moment to thank every county executive, every mayor, and our Governor Tony Evers, who continue to stand and raise this flag. There are many places that do not. So I want to thank you. Thank you to my good friend and my sister, Melissa Agard. And Santia Rose Conway, our mayor, thank you, because you don't have to do it, so I thank you for that. In times when the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion and civil rights are continually to be under attack, it is crucial that we collectively remain firmly rooted in our values, strong in our beliefs, and proud in our heritage. In fact, I stand here to say, let's talk more action, because I stood here and helped create the first Office of Equity and Inclusion named after Tamara D. Grigsby in Dane County. That's what I talk about as elected officials. Let's talk more action. We must continue to remember those whose legacy has brought us this far. And we've come this far by faith. We must continue to remember the late Dr. Reverend Ronald Myers, the father of the modern day Juneteenth movement, founder, yes, founder of the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation, and a graduate of our flagship university, Madison, Wisconsin, where I served as a representative for 6 years. We must continue to recognize Miss Opal Lee. Yes. Give her her flowers, who is known as the grandmother of Juneteenth because of her courageous walk and campaign to the White House in an effort to get the holiday federally recognized. We must continue to recognize the bravery and the sacrifices of those who have come before us and acknowledge that we stand on the shoulders of all those who brought freedom and equality before us. Our ancestors dreamed of liberation. They dreamed of a world in which your prosperity, your safety, your happiness did not depend on the color of your skin. We in Madison, Wisconsin have come so far, but we must remain steady and ready and willing to continue to pursue equity and justice so that generations behind us can come after us and live a life beyond our ancestors' dreams. I stand here today to thank you. Thank you for showing up with us collectively and your attendance today. And in closing, I would love to close in the words of Ms. Opal Lee, and I quote, "I found that the promise of freedom is only as strong as those who choose to uphold it. The question is, will you rise to the occasion or will you stand still as history passes you by?" Thank you and God bless you.
Every time Representative Sheila Stubbs steps up to the podium, it's just breathtaking, you know? So thank you, Representative, for all that you do. And every time you use your voice to speak life, it speaks abundance of life. So I appreciate you for that. And now, all that you have been waiting for in this amazing sun, in this amazing building, we will now get ready to do our flag raising. If you can now turn your heads towards the flag as we get ready to lift it for the 37th annual Juneteenth celebration. And accompanying the flag raising will again be Miss Bozeman Brown with "Oh Freedom."
Thank you, LaTanya. Getting a little closer. It's okay, y'all, come a little closer. And if I can get a clap. Oh, oh, freedom.